Alright, I guess I have to make a video on this. This is an item sorter. It's pretty much the same design you probably see all over YouTube. If it looks kind of complicated, it probably is if you don't know much about any kind of Minecraft, any sort of thing. So I figured I'd make a video where instead of just showing you that you need like a 20 by 10 footprint and these materials and hello, what's this? As all those other videos seem to do, they do a good job of, I guess, of describing like how everything works, and while they're describing how to build something exactly like this. But I think it would probably do everyone a service, even whether you are new to this or whether you know it all, but just it's a good refresher, man, on how item sorting works rather than how to build this item sorter. So let's go into that. I mean, the very most basic part of it probably is the hopper. I mean, it pulls items from a chest or any other object that has an inventory and pushes it into another object that has an inventory. And so here we would expect it to go down this line and end up in here when we put items into here. And that's what happens. It pulls one down, pushes, and 13 of them end up in here. And same is true for any object above. This one is another hopper that is pointing into nowhere, so it has nowhere else to go but down. And so it goes down into this one, and this one pushes into here. Which raises the question, if this one has a choice to push to here before this one has a chance to suck it out and push it here, where's it going to go? Well, if we put in one object, where do you think it's going to end up? Here? No. It ends up here because of hopper priority, which is this will pull from this one before this one has a chance to push into this. And so take this back away and it really doesn't matter anymore. It's just always going to get pulled first. Maybe I'll put that back because here's something else I'd like to show you. If we put more than one object, see how they're going at a rate of like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, real fast. Half of them are ending up here, half are ending up here. I don't know why I decided to even describe that, but that's, that's hopper shit, and that's kind of how most of these principles start. Now, here's something else to consider. Let's remove this. If this one was full of, say, not full, but every slot taken up by some type of item, then we put these droppers in here, they won't get pulled down. We put these in here, well, the scaffolding's getting pulled down because there's some sort of space for it at this point. If we turn off this, obviously, they stop getting pulled down, even though they're still in this hopper here. And if they had any other place to go, say another hopper even, well, that would be difficult. It'd be pointing into the other one. But there you go. So now it has somewhere to push them, even though the bottom one's not pulling. If the bottom one could pull, it would take the scaffolding because it can. But it's not going to take any droppers, obviously. It has nowhere for it to put them. And so that's a start. Now, let's go over here. Another cool principle is, well, another cool feature rather, is the comparator, this guy here. And the reason it's cool is, wait, where's all my scaffolding? Let me get that back. It can actually like measure how many items are inside of a container. So I put one in, you see it lit up, and it lit up this guy here. I put another torch in here, nothing. Keep going. When I get to 23, this one will light up. And that's the number that's actually important for the whole sorting system, which is basically that. We'll come back to it here in just a second. And while we're on this, may as well talk about inverters. Basically, a torch. See how that torch is off? If we take the items out, the torch goes on. So when this thing's off, this is on, and vice versa. It's just an inverter. Figured I'd talk about that for a moment. Alright, now, knowing what we know, come over here, and what we see is, look at this center hopper. Never mind the ones on the top. They're basically pretty simple, right? Chest goes in, it gets sucked out to here, push into this. But hopper priority says this one should take some items first. So let's focus on the one in the middle. It's hooked up to a comparator that has 1, 2, and when redstone is on top of a block or powering right into a block, it will actually power the block itself. So 1, 2 means that 23 items would light up 2 spaces, which would light up this, which would turn off this torch. Right now this torch is on, so if we put anything in here, it won't get sucked out by the one on the bottom, and so it won't get pushed into here. But look what happens if we put, say, more than 23 items in here. It's going to get pulled all the way down to 22, whereas they're getting sucked up by this, then pushed into here. Hopefully this is still making sense. So, the way we set this thing up is to do something like this. We could either put all torches in here and boom, like that. And so this thing can't take anything but a torch. If this whole row had items going across one by one, when it gets to here, even though hopper priority says this thing should take an item first, it's not going to take it. It's going to put it in here. Because if it's not a torch, it's just not going to take it. Now, if it did take it, if there could be one more torch coming in, boom, it's immediately just going to suck that one out and put it in here. And so it's never really going to get overflowed with torches. But you know what? Since the number 23 is what we're really concerned with, there's really a better way to set this up. Take all of these out of here and take any other object that you don't intend to put into the system to be sorted, especially something that's real cheap. I mean, I guess you could use dirt, but if you want to sort dirt, then you can't use it. What you need to do is use a unique item that's not going to be sorted, or even go to a anvil and rename something. You could even rename a pile of dirt to something like placeholder, like I did with these cobblestone slabs, which seems to be like the freaking national standard of like what you should use as a placeholder in the first place. But yeah, so what you would want to do is go 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here, and then all you need really is 2 torches, which is good if you want to like sort stuff like diamonds early on or whatever. It's like, man, if it really costs you 23, 24 diamonds to get your system set up, then you know, maybe wait. But right now it's like it really only takes 2 of a particular item. Something to keep in mind is the first one that goes in doesn't end up in the chest. Well, come here. There was already one in there. Let me show you one more time, just for proof of concept. The first one, click, goes in, but it doesn't go to the chest. It just got pulled down into here. And then the next one will end up in the chest and end up in your system, etc., etc. If you want to build a big silo, which is basically this, you could put another chest, another chest, another chest, and so now we have extra, double the storage. They'll get pulled out into here, then pulled out into here, and so on. You don't want to put a hopper right here going directly into a chest, because this torch will turn that hopper off, so it doesn't really work. Anyway, I think that's about it. Damn, I didn't expect I was really going to ramble my way through the actual basics that fast. I guess the only other point is a proof of concept is to throw in a bunch of scaffolding into this box, which should get sucked down, pushed, 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 and if it's a torch, it should end up in the chest. Otherwise, it should end up in our, quote, miscellaneous section. So neither of these are torches. Seems to be working. What's in here? Nothing but torches. So yeah, looks like it's functioning pretty well. And if you want to keep adding new items to be sorted, only thing to keep in mind is I don't recommend wherever you're taking the items in, don't add another column right here. Like, always have it first start by one hopper pushing into the very first hopper that you're actually going to be sorting items. So we could easily add this here. Oh, wait. You know what? Probably best do this. You son of a bitch. Come here. Bam, bam. Right. And one of these. And you know what? Here. Yeah. My build skills are a little sloppy. Other than that, it should be simple. Yeah, you put this here, this here, this here, and here, and then go ahead and throw that guy in there, throw your redstone dust, bam, bam. Now what you'll notice is these guys are actually connected, so kind of like you'd think, man, aren't we going to get our wires crossed? The thing is this would have to fill up at way higher capacity. Like, a lot of torches would have to come in and overfill this thing to the point where it actually powers up to 3 steps rather than 2. And it would require 1, 2, 3 for this thing to actually fire one of the guys who are beside it. See if that makes any sense to you. It's like, you're right, the wires are crossed, but the signal strength gets less with each block. So going 1 block beside it would mean that somehow or another the system got way jammed up with too many torches too fast. And that's why I always recommend using a row of hoppers rather than any other sort of like input system, like a flow of water, or hoppers on mine carts, or mine carts with treasure chests on them or whatever. They could overflow the system technically, whereas this way the system will only overflow when there's literally nowhere for this torch to go, which means that you probably should maintained your shit at one point when it's overflowing. Take some stuff out, but that's just me. Anyways, and we would place another one of these here facing towards the comparator, which has no inventory, so that's basically dead space. You know, this one's pointing into empty air, this one's pointing into the comparator. Now all we need is a torch here, and this thing's pretty much set up. Put this here, and bam. And now we've got another little setup Or we could do some shit like here. Let's go get our items back that we sent through the first time. Got some torches. Got some nonsense over here. Let's sort some scaffolding this time. Come over here. We'll put like 5 of any item that's never going to go through the system. Which is why I use these little placeholders in each of those slots. And then 1, 2. If we put a 3rd scaffolding, boom, there it went, boom, there it went. Should be 1 scaffolding here, 1 scaffolding there. And if we go ahead and throw shit in, got scaffolding, we got droppers, we got some torches, and we got, say, like, yeah, throw these in there. And here's our scaffolding. Our torches should be coming here in a minute. Droppers next, I think. And I think that pretty much sums up the whole system, man. As far as the actual sorter. And this video is probably long enough. Next thing we're going to do is describe how it all comes together over here. And maybe describe this little tickety-tick system and all that shit. Yep, the water bubbles. Yep, there's a couple more things to describe. Anyways, I think we're good.